I'm here to give you an overview about the Project Online retirement. That's going to happen on the 30th of September in 2026. So moving swiftly on, this is being recorded and we will make it available to you afterwards, and we will make the slides available. My very good colleague Dries is managing the chat window. So if you have any questions as we go through there today, please put them in the chat window. He will aim to answer those, and we will come back to those towards the end of the session so we get a good flow. Realistically, for me, the aim for today is to get you educated, understand what TPG's point of view is and how we can help you. And really, we'd like to get a meeting with you. To be honest, it's the easiest way is to have that kind of one-on-one session. I've already had some of these with customers in the UK, and we are certainly starting to move in the right directions. All right, so we're going to talk about what we know today. You'll notice it's what Microsoft recommends and what TPG recommends. So I'm going to give you an opinion about that. And then we'll talk about next steps. So really should roll through this. Like I said, any questions, feel free to push those through the chat window. All right, so we now know that on the 30th of September 2026, Microsoft Project Online will no longer be with us. I've calculated that correctly, hopefully today, is 386 days. But as we all know, there's things like Christmas and Easter and other big holidays and what have you that we will all have. So we need to just take that into consideration. What it really means is there'll be no access to Project Online, Project Web App, any of the data associated with Project Online from that point onwards. There is an assumption it includes all your associated SharePoint sites, but that has not been confirmed. However, it would be my opinion that you would want to move out of that fully, for example. So if you're using it for documents, risks and issues, you're going to need to think about where you're going to store that data as much as your regular project schedule information. As of the 1st of October 2025, new customers won't be able to purchase any Project Online licenses. So again, my understanding of that is that would be like if you have a new tenant and you wanted to add Project Online into that tenant. So if you've already got licenses, you'd be able to continue purchasing more, but just new customers, very specifically around there. And then from April 2026, you won't be able to have any new Project Online instances. But obviously by then, you've only got April, May, June, July, August, September. You've got like 6 months left. So I'm not sure why you would want to do that, but it's a date, right? And I guess rather cheekily, one of my colleagues has created the Microsoft Project Offline logo in the top right hand corner. So yes, thank you for that. Like I said, you'll get these links. There is a link there to the Microsoft Community Hub post that went out on Friday, and obviously you'll see lots of information below that from partners and the like. So that's what we know today. So Microsoft's options are that you could move to Planner. To be honest, Planner's not a project scheduling tool that I would use in any kind of anger, right? There are two versions of it. You get Planner, which is included in Microsoft 365, does some simple basic task management. And then there's what's been recently renamed, obviously, from Project for the Web to be Planner Plan 1, 3, or 5. Might be suitable for some simple projects, but if you're a Project Online user and you've been using Project Desktop, you cannot replace that desktop tool with Microsoft Planner. It has far fewer capabilities, doesn't have things like the multiple baselines and costs and resources and the kind of capabilities, which is why you're using Project and Project Online. Okay, let's be really clear about that. Microsoft are also suggesting you could go to Dynamics 365 Project Operations, which is basically Planner with Dynamics 365 on top of it. Okay, and it's pretty punchy when it comes to the pricing as well. Okay, so obviously pricing for licenses is very much based on your agreement with Microsoft or whichever of the licensing organizations that you work with. But again, not something that we would be pushing. And then obviously the main one is Project Service Subscription Edition with Project Desktop. And pricing for that will depend on how many users you have, but it does have near identical functionality to what you get in Project Online, but you have to run it on premises. You could co-locate it. So if you were using a third-party data center, you could have it in there. And obviously you've got Azure and AWS VMs that you could run it on. And we already have customers using that option, and we have had for several years, in fact. So, you know, that is an option that works. We know it works. You get really great performance out of it. And we can help you build out what that cost model looks like, not only for the licenses that you need for that, but also for the VMs around that. So that's the Microsoft option. So if you go into that website of that previous link, that's what you'll get from there. So what do we recommend at TPG? Well, for the last, I think, 4 or 5 years, we've been building our TPG ProjectPowerPack capability. That's built on top of Power Apps. It has its own scheduler. So it has TPG Scheduler. It's a great scheduling tool, very similar to Microsoft Project, but it's in the browser, not on the desktop. And it gives you capabilities like cross-project dependency management, for example, right? It also will run to many thousands of tasks if you wanted that in a single schedule, but it also encompasses and uses all those great capabilities that sit on top of the Power Platform, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But we also have this option because at TPG, you know, we're really well known for our PS Link product, which is a great way of integrating various line of business systems. It does mean you could bring your own scheduling tool. So TPG Scheduler you could use Microsoft Project Desktop, and I'll come to that in a couple of slides time, and you can use Planner as well. So you have this ability to have, you know, when we think about project management, yes, we're talking about scheduling today, but of course there's all of those other things, all of that other data that you have in your projects, you know, your documents, risks, issues, decisions, right, actions, and many of you are probably working with Microsoft Teams as well. So again, you know, it will integrate with Microsoft Teams, i.e., for example, I create a project, I can create a team site at the same time if I want to, or link to one I've already got, and that way I can use the best of both worlds. So again, with TPG ProjectPowerPack, you can move to what we term, you know, the 4th generation of project portfolio management tools. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. If you have a need for something and you want to continue to use Project Desktop, then obviously you know, we can integrate that, but you could have Microsoft Project Server Subscription Edition. Like I said already, on premises, co-located, or Azure and AWS. And the other thing about TPG globally is that I would say we probably have more live project server implementations still running for customers than any other partner. We have many customers either running it co-located, so they're using things, you know, they have it in their own data center, or we've got them running it on Microsoft Azure. At the moment, Microsoft is saying it's supported through 2031, but we believe that might go all the way through 2035 as well. So there is some TBCs on this, but that based on the current their current model for how they support, then that's how that's supposed to run. Okay, so our key recommendations for you today. Oh, and there's one final one. I'm not the most popular person when I say about this, but you could go hybrid. You could use Microsoft Project Server Subscription Edition for your very deep, very needy requirements around project scheduling and do that, and then use TPG ProjectPowerPack for all of your documents, risks, issues, all of the other good stuff, and then layered on top of that, you'd have the likes of Power BI, of course, for reporting and dashboards. And that's the reason why I was going to say it's super important for us to have a kind of a one-to-one conversation with anyone here who is interested. We will be offering, free kind of 50-minute sessions. They can overrun if necessary, right? But we can talk to you about where you are now and what the options are that you have. I mean, to give you an idea, I have a call tomorrow at 7 o'clock with 7 o'clock in the morning for one of my customers, because we need to get moving with what we are going to do. All right, so I spoke about 4th generation project portfolio management with Power Platform. What does that really mean? Well, we've had I started with projects back in the mid-90s, so I remember like Project 4.0, and then we started to get the server products in the early 2000s, and then the SaaS products started to come along in the 2010s, and now we've got the kind of low-code, no-code capabilities that are coming along with Microsoft Power Platform. So what we at TPG have done over the last 4 years or so is to build out TPG ProjectPowerPack. It provides you with the scheduling capabilities. So like I said, we have our own TPG scheduler, which is a very strong scheduling tool. You can integrate that with Project Desktop or Project Online. You could also use it with Planner. We have other customers who use it with things like Primavera P6. So Project PowerPack can be the overall glue for the way that you actually want to work. And of course, then the PowerPack side of things also gives you lessons learned, financials, resource management, benefits capture, all of the other bits of information that you often have in kind of maybe Word or Excel documents. We can bring those into a Power App, which really makes it a much more powerful way to roll up and summarize that information. So you can see on the screen here, these are kind of the core capabilities that we're utilizing to deliver TPG ProjectPowerPack. I know many of you will have used Power BI over the years, and yeah, certainly that is something. Yeah. So if you are looking to move off of Project Online, then this is the option from TPG. Again, the data is stored in Dataverse, which is stored in your Microsoft tenant. So you have access to that data whenever you want. You can extract it and do exactly what you need to be able to do. All right, so how does integration with Planner and Project Desktop work? Well, we have TPG ProjectPowerPack and our TPG scheduler. And one of the simplest ways is that it actually allows you to import MPP files. So if you're already working in a certain way, you can do that. Now, you'll probably read online that Planner allows you to import MPP files. I can tell you it's not the simplest thing to do, and it doesn't give you all of the capabilities of a Microsoft project plan, of course. Whereas with TPG Scheduler, we're much closer to having parity than Microsoft Planner has. What we can then use is TPG PS Link as that synchronization between, say, Planner or Project Desktop, and actually get that data into Project PowerPack in a much more regular and standard way. So again, we're already doing this. This is nothing new. PS Link's been around, gosh, 20 plus years, and plenty of customers using it in various different ways. And again, if you're a PS Link customer today, you're using Project Online, then again, you've got options. We can change the endpoints that PS Link is using, obviously, to move or as the data point that you need for your schedule. So in this example, you've got projects A, B, C, and D. Project A could be directly in a TPG scheduler. Project B might be coming from Planner. Project C might be coming from Project Desktop. And Project D, again, is a TPG scheduler. So, we've got options for you that you could start to roll into extremely quickly as an organization. So hopefully you're starting to feel a bit more relaxed. Hopefully no one's panicking. That's always the key thing, right? Let's have, hopefully you come away from today armed with more information, able to make a decision. So I'm not here to do a big demo of Project PowerPack today, I wanted to really focus on the day, on the dates, and what information you need. But with Project PowerPack, we are built on top of Power Platform. It gives you a singular place to go and run your projects and programs and portfolios from. It gives you multi-project views, multi-project resource views, of course. We can do the things that Project Align has always been able to do. So things like selection and prioritization of your projects. We can capture all of your risks and issues and what have you. We've got reporting packs with over 40 reports out of the box available for you. You can do all your collaboration using Teams, of course. We do have timesheet functionality, so you can collect time and then look at, your original plan versus baseline versus current, what was actually put in. And because we are built on Power Platform, as Microsoft release new capabilities like Copilot, we're able to utilize those very quickly. But you don't have to if you don't want to. So again, this is a product. We have a roadmap. We have a product team who roll this, who typically we have a roughly quarterly updates of this. So while you may see around that there are accelerators and what have you, often they are just built for you, whereas this TPG Project PowerPack is built for everybody. And again, one of the big things with TPG Scheduler is cross-project dependency management. So we have that ability to run across those. So you can continue to use the kind of capabilities that we're using in Project Desktop. All right, so quick chat around Project Server Subscription Edition. I think everybody thought things were like this were going away, but it could be the greatest comeback since QR codes, if anybody remembers that during the pandemic. There is, again, we can talk about it briefly here. There is server licensing, so you need licenses for Project Server Subscription Edition, which is built on top of SharePoint Server Subscription Edition, so you need that. Again, these can be deployed on premises, co-located, or an Azure AWS VM, so they can run in that way. You will need client access licensing, so depending on who's accessing what, you still have the Project Web App only maybe users, so they would use a Project Server Cal. Again, if you recall your Project Server licensing, then you've got the SharePoint client access licenses as well. And then from a Project Desktop, you've got a number of options. So you can purchase on recurring, so you can purchase the normal way. Microsoft Project, it's called Microsoft Project Online Desktop Client. You'll see it also as Planner with Project Plan 3 or 5, and you'll need that obviously if you want to continue working in that way. But you do have Project Professional 2024, the perpetual product, and that would also connect to Project Server. So if you wanted more of a one-time cost, that is also an option. So again, the reason why I really want to try and set up these one-to-one conversations with people is because there's a lot to discuss in terms of options for you, and it's going to be different for different organizations. And of course, at the heart of this, we also have PS Link. So PS Links are a product that we've had the longest, but it allows us to integrate with line of business systems and move that data backwards and forwards. But also, it's just much more than just moving it. We can extract it, transform it, load it. We have customers using PS Link where we're pulling data, putting it into that earned value system. It's making sure that that earned value system works first time. It reduces those really boring bits of work where people are pulling stuff into Excel, maybe making mistakes and then pushing it around. So again, PS Link, so much more than just an ETL tool. Again, we've got webinars that you can find on our YouTube channel, which talks about the things that we've done with other customers. But certainly nowadays, we see with customers where we have, Project Online or Project Server. They're also using Primavera P6. They've got separate risk tools and earn value tools, and then we use this to give them that kind of singular view of the world. So yeah, certainly for sure, you can start to understand that, with that 30th of September 2026 date coming, we need to have some discussions. So my giveaway, I guess, is it? Your next actions. Let's get a call set up, right? Whether you're in the UK or in the DACH region or in the Middle East or somewhere else, then set up a session with us. I say 50 minutes because you need to kind of put some time around it, but we can have a review session with you, understand where you are, understand what it means to you as an organization. The customer I'm having a call with tomorrow, they're a public sector customer. They've got to think about, what does this mean in terms of getting funding? Where do they find the funding from? What do they want to move to? There's a number of moving parts for organizations, and we recognize that. But again, it's Microsoft that made this decision, and we are here to help and support you as a partner to achieve and continue to achieve what you need to in terms of project and portfolio management. So like I said, we'll share this with you afterwards. Share the slides. There are a bunch of fact sheets you'll be able to download, and we have some click-through demos as well around Project PowerPack, so you can understand things like an overview of it, resource forecasting, and our timesheet. So yes, that really brings me to the end of today's webinar. I wanted to keep it really focused on what people need to think about and what they need to do next. If you are wanting to go to and have a session with me or one of my colleagues, then obviously you could just email us directly, info@theproject group. I am Christopher P at theprojectgroup.com. You can get me there directly, but we'll send those links. Hope you have great days, and we look forward to speaking to you soon.